Hey guys, welcome back to this place, and if you are new, welcome here for the very first time. I am Carmen, and today we are watching season 4, episode 5 of For All Mankind, and we are officially halfway through season 4 after this episode, which makes me a little bit sad because it's the last season that has currently aired. So when I do catch up, there's gonna have to be like a gap between now and whenever season 5 airs. So that's a bit sad. But I'm excited to get into this episode, as well as slightly terrified as usual. Margot is in a lot of danger, and I think she might be realizing that now. So I'm very concerned about her. Ed got another blow losing Svetlana, so I don't know where he is mentally, and that's kind of concerning for me. We also still have the whole trying to smuggle a whole person to Mars thing happening, as well as something with Miles and Sam, which I'm not super invested in currently, but we'll see how it plays out. Like, I like their characters enough. I'm not in love with them yet. You know, like, I don't absolutely adore their characters like I do, like, Danielle or Margot or Ed, you know. I'm not, like, that there yet with them. But we'll see. We'll see. Kind of honestly hoping that I don't get there, because then if something happens to them, it's less traumatic for me. But anyway, that is sort of where we are. Like, there's complicated relations with Russia and everyone else right now because of the change in government. So we're going to see how that continues to play out and the fallout of that. So, yeah, as well as the fallout of the sort of like class divide that is happening on Mars currently. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. Let's get into this episode and see what happens now.
Looks like it's about 1.1 kilometers in diameter. Not huge as these things go.
And based on our orbital analysis of its moon, the density of the asteroid is 7 grams per cubic centimeter.
It means it's full of metal for sure.
A spectral analysis tells us this asteroid likely contains a colossal amount of...
Иридиум очень редко на Земле. И мы уже контролируем большую часть его.
Не так много. По скромным подсчетам, он около 70 тысяч метрических тонн.
Our estimates indicate there's more iridium in 2003 LC than has been mined in the entire history of Earth.
Iridium is going for about 294 a gram. Based on current mass estimates, that's worth upwards of
$20 trillion and nicknamed the Goldilocks asteroid. If it is able to be harnessed and its iridium mined in Mars' orbit, economists predict it will lead to another technological revolution here on Earth.
Goldilocks. Flashback. Are we gonna find out what happened to Danny? Ooh. Okay, so he's still okay at this time.
Commander.
What's happened?
Something incredible.
The asteroid thing?
We're on the same page here, Eli. The last thing we want to do is antagonize our partners.
Good. Because the only way we're going to get this thing is if we all work together.
Okay.
This can't be seen as just an
You just
American...
focus on getting Mars whatever it needs to get that asteroid. We'll handle the rest.
Okay. Shouldn't they all just split it 3 ways?
Rushing around with our hands flapping in the breeze, hoping we can wing it is not going to get this done.
Well, rushing around with our hands flapping wasn't what I was proposing, Ed.
Well, it sure sounded like it to me.
So he's still mad at her, and this is the forum that he is choosing to express that upset.
Can I speak with you for a minute, please?
Privately.
That attitude of yours, it ain't gonna fly.
What, I'm supposed to rubber stamp any harebrained idea of yours that washes over the transom?
You're supposed to
This is
not be a
about
dick.
harebrained ideas, Ed.
Yeah.
And what is it about?
Svetlana, we're not dumb.
Let's just get this out.
Danielle
now.
sure as hell ain't.
All right?
Ever since I sent Svetlana Zakharova back Earthside, you've been fighting me tooth and nail. I say left, you say right. It has slowed operations on Happy Valley to a crawl these past few months. You're my XO. We have got to be on the same page.
Sending her back was a bad call.
She didn't have another call, really.
It was my call to make. We don't have to see eye to eye on this to get this thing done. But we need to get this thing done.
Mm-hmm.
This asteroid, Ed, it could change everything for people back home.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that why we're up here in the first place?
Look, I want to get this rock as much as you do.
Well, then stop stalling.
Okay.
Stop
Then
being a
let's cut
roadblock.
this shit and make this happen.
Yeah. Shake her hand. She is your friend, Ed.
I don't like him.
Why?
He's not good enough for Samantha.
I mean, we don't really know anything about him, to be fair. Or I don't. Maybe they do.
He keeps asking me about updates on his wife. We should let him know where we stand on that, so,
Y'all probably stand nowhere, because how you gonna smuggle a whole ass person?
Remember, Leah knows best.
I would have just said from the start, how do you expect me to smuggle a whole ass person to Mars?
I simply felt that as CEO of Helios, with everything unfolding on Mars as it has, I should take a more hands-on role up there.
So he's gonna go to Mars? Right? Is that what they're saying?
So if you're up there, who's going to handle all the M7 negotiations for Goldilocks?
No way. I'm an engineer. I'm
Alita,
not...
don't worry. You'll be great. Now, Kelly, we need to talk about robotics.
So I guess the
Oh, Alita.
astrobiology program
It's
just
Alita.
gets shunted aside. Back burner yet again, right?
On the contrary, I'm escalating the timeline. I want your team's personnel and equipment with me when I go.
Okay.
In a month?
The Seekers can be ready, but I doubt my expedition team will be. I was counting on another 6 weeks to bring them up to speed.
I have a fix for that. You come with us.
What?
Oh,
You
God.
train your team en route. By the time we arrive, they'll be ready to hit the ground running.
Dev, I hear what you're saying, but I can't just drop everything and go to Mars with you.
Yeah.
Why not?
Gonna watch her
I
kid?
have a son. I'd have to leave him behind for what, 6 months, a year, maybe longer?
You have spent 15 years on the search for life. It would be a shame to drop the ball when you're this close to the finish line.
Yeah, but she has responsibilities on Earth.
It's up to you. Meanwhile, I got a few loose ends that I need to tie before I go, so I will be out of pocket for a couple of days.
A couple of days, but we're right in the middle of revamping capture protocols.
And this is why the board wanted Karen.
So some crew members were replaced and others were deemed mission essential.
Like you as commander?
Yeah.
Experienced commander. Battle tested. Sounded like a
Goddamn winner to me. But hell, if you want to micromanage me like this, we can start all over. No problem.
Negative.
I could not deal with it. Genuinely.
Give me more of a heads up next time. Happy Valley out.
God damn it. Switching back to manual for attitude control checkout.
Like, he has tremors or something. He can't even...
Hold on that test for a minute.
Standing by, Ranger.
Yeah, look. Tell Danielle.
I really put my poor dad through the ringer.
Well, I'm sure he'd be very proud of you now. Aleta Rosales, power broker.
Oh, God, no. It's gonna be a disaster. Just you watch.
I don't know. I think you have it in you.
Come on, can
I
you
think
imagine
she
me
does,
sitting
too.
across from all those M7 reps?
Yes, I can.
I can.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I remember my mom when she first bought this place. Okay, she'd never run a business before in her life. I asked her if she was nervous. She said, there are always a million reasons not to do something. You have to find the reason to do it.
I believe in Alita. I think that she is more than capable of dealing with those people. That, like, the power broker M7 government types.
My advice, Al, Leave the discoveries to the scientists and stick to doing what you do best, ruining our economy.
What the hell is he doing? This is a dance, Ron. A delicate dance.
I don't control what the president says.
Oh, don't give me that shit. It was a prepared speech. He was reading off a fucking teleprompter.
He likes to improvise sometimes.
This is going to destroy all of the goodwill that we have built up with the Russians. And do you have any idea of what the other M7 nations are gonna...
Yeah, and none of it matters if we lose to Bragg in 04.
Oh, so that's what this is all about.
Of course it is. You and I both know that Bragg would be a fucking nightmare for NASA, not to mention the country. So let's get off our soapbox.
Why can they not just all have an equal piece of the pie? Like, isn't that what being allies is for?
Are you saying that Ed is hiding a medical condition?
That is what I suspect, Commander, yes.
You know
that is a very
Danielle.
serious accusation.
He knows.
I know it is. But I also know what I saw. I just thought you should know too.
I'm proud of you, Palmer.
Can I please come back? Please. I'll stay in my rack. Oh, I'm sorry.
I know it's hard. This is how it's gotta be. You know that.
Well, if y'all just strip him of responsibility, then he can't really fuck up anymore. And if he stays in his rack and doesn't, like, wander, I'm not sure why he couldn't come back. You know?
What if you decide to stay forever?
Like Grandpa?
Poppy did.
God, I know this is hard, but I've been on work trips before. This one will just be a bit longer, okay?
Все будет хорошо.
She is so judgy. Damn, like, I don't know. I don't know that it's the right choice either, but also, like, not my place to tell someone else, like, how to live their life or raise their kid. I don't know.
We can finally buy our own house, thanks to you. Honestly, I never thought that we'd be able to do that.
It is a big deal.
Okay, gotta go. Bye.
I know they're, like, separated, so they're gonna get back. But they're, like, kind of together, right? So that's my thing with them.
We are powerless up here, Miles.
That's what I keep telling you. Come in with me on this red obsidian thing. It's not too late. People back home are paying anything to get a piece of Mars. That way you're not putting your life on the line for people who don't give a shit about you.
No, I don't know. I don't think I'm there yet. I've been wanting this my whole life, you know? I can't just walk away from it.
Yeah, I get it.
Wouldn't you be just as powerless, like, on Earth? Like, you know what I mean? Like, in the grand scheme of, like, shit that's happening in the world, I think most of us feel pretty powerless most of the time. Uh-oh. He just found out that he's been fucking him.
I'm going to Mars.
Yeah, but surely you'll come back.
We're doing something important up there. We're building a new world, and it's a better world than this one.
You know, you could try to change things here.
We haven't heard him
You
talk
could make such a difference there.
about his mom.
When you come back, there is a
remember?
community.
I'm not coming back.
Oh.
What do you mean?
Excuse me? So you are going to stay
I'm
there?
staying up there.
Forever? For the rest of your life?
You're still chasing your father's dream, aren't you?
I'm not doing this, fam.
That's what you tell yourself. But these dreams of space destroyed your father.
Space did not destroy him. You did.
Okay, that's a lot of blame.
Everything that he did for his family, for our future. He never recovered after you left us.
I never left you, my son. You know this.
I was there. Don't you remember?
yes, I remember how I begged you to come with me.
And you want me to leave him with no one at all? I could never do that.
The truth is,
But she would have
he had
had no
already
one.
infected
No?
you with his disease of ambition.
Okay, God forbid anybody have any ambition.
Disease of ambition. This is very
Let's just
different
agree.
life
You and I will
philosophies.
never see eye to eye and part as friends.
You're not my friend. You're my son.
Just part
Stay here with
as
me.
two people
With
who
your
give a
people.
shit
Don't
about
turn
each
your
other.
back on them. You can do so much good for the young ones. They look up to you.
Harambe, right? Everybody joining hands, working together for the good of the whole. You know, of all the lies that you told me, that one was the cruelest one.
What?
But it's okay,
It's not
because I see how people are now.
It's not a lie. It just depends on the people you surround yourself
If
with.
you need anything.
Like, there's always
just
gonna be
call me.
shitty people, but there's always gonna be good people too.
I don't want your money. I never wanted it. I just want my son.
I feel like that's fine, but also you should let him choose the life that he wants and not try to force a life on him. You know, like if he wants space, then I think that there's something inherently wrong with it. You just have a different philosophies regarding life, right?
Well, I am not opposed to a summit, but we would have to include the other M7 nations.
Of course. And we will be more than happy to host them here in Soviet Union.
What if y'all see? What if someone sees Marco?
The M7 just announced an emergency summit to hash out how much everyone gets of this asteroid.
Okay. Thank you for the update.
It starts first thing next week, so
But
You have to be in the Soviet Russia.
Dad will already
Sorry.
be on his way to Mars by then.
yep, pack warm. You're going to the Soviet Union.
I was right, Soviet Union. What if she sees Marco? You guys, I'm very concerned. What if she sees Marco? I could just be creating this whole thing in my head, but like, Marco, you need to be like, fucking hiding, okay? They need to let you know, and you need to be hiding.
You're stronger than me. Stronger than all of us put together. You got this, okay? And you are gonna be the best mom. You are. I keep thinking about how nurturing you've always been. From the day that your dad and I met you, you've nurtured everybody around you. Even your dad and me.
I miss Karen.
I can't wait to meet my little grandbaby. I may have already purchased the wallpaper in the crib for the nursery. No, I know, but I can't help it. I love you. With all my heart.
That's so sad. She forgot to meet the baby. Fuck. Fuck. I did not realize how much I missed fucking Karen until that. Those suits are still so hard to take seriously.
Danny?
Oh fuck, he's dead. I think he's dead. He's gonna be dead. He's gonna be dead. He's gonna be dead. Yeah, he is dead. He's dead. Did he just let himself run out of oxygen?
I want to bring my son with me. I know it sounds crazy with his health issues and all, but just hear me out.
I think he might let you.
My dad will help look after him as well. Dev, I am committed to doing my job to the best of my ability. But I can't just abandon my son.
This is bringing up his parental issues.
I hope you understand.
Because he feels like his mom abandoned him.
Of course I do. And he'll be welcome.
Thank you.
I cannot see to write down, damn it.
I think it might be time for you to take a step back from flight duty.
Excuse me?
Might be for the best. You let somebody else command Ranger.
Oh, shit. Oh.
Like you?
No. It's not about that. I want you to let the doc take a look at your hand.
My hand? For what?
She's just telling him.
You know what for.
Yeah, you do. You do.
This is totally out of line, Danielle.
No,
I thought we were putting aside our differences, but I guess
Ed.
that was just a load of bullshit.
Ed.
You have been commanding missions, flying missions, while concealing a potentially serious health condition. All because what? You just couldn't let go.
I know my body. I know what works for it. I'm fine.
That is not your call to
Ed.
make, and you know that. You lied to me. How am I supposed to trust you?
Come on, Danielle. You know I'd never put anyone in danger.
I'm not so sure I do anymore. You should have gone home a long time ago. Be with your daughter and your grandson.
Is that why you went home so quickly? Huh? Be with your family? Or maybe it was because you were the one really running away.
Watch yourself, Ed.
Or what?
Ed is always...
You're already talking about clipping my wings. What else is there?
Ed, why do you
You gonna
always
exile me to that North Korean capsule?
have to be a dick?
Give me a Bible to read.
You agreed to it too.
You!
Yeah.
Fuck you! I have been putting up with your shit for the last 30 years! Watching you make wrong decision after wrong decision, only thinking about yourself like you were God's gift to the cosmos. Well, I have news for you, Ed Baldwin. You are just a pathetic old man who doesn't know when to call it a day.
Yeah. Unlike you, I'm not a fucking quitter.
No, Ed. And luckily, that is not your concern anymore. You're done.
What the hell are you talking about?
You are hereby removed from flight status and relieved of your duties as XO on this base.
Oh, shit. Honestly, it's kind of deserved, but like...
Don't do anything you're gonna regret.
I got a lot of regrets in my life, Ed.
This ain't gonna be one of them.
This ain't gonna be one of them.
I understand. All you had to do was take what she said with a little bit of grace, Ed. With a little fucking bit of grace. I just, I love Ed. And I also am so frustrated by him. Like, I don't know. Let's talk about the asteroid for a bit. I know that it's a very naive way to look at it, but I don't understand why 3 or however many even allied countries can't just work together to get the asteroid and then evenly divide it amongst the nations that participated in securing it, right? And I know that politics and alliances and governments and XYZ don't really work that way. I know that every nation is always going to want to have a little bit more or secure a little bit more or be in a little bit better standing, and so they're going to want to be the one that controls it, right? But I just think it would be better if they could just all work together and just equally share the pie. You know, and like I said, maybe that is a bit naive, but I honestly think that honestly don't understand why, as a species, humans don't just try to put aside our differences more and just work towards the betterment of the entire species of humans, and why we don't try to try harder as a collective to solve a lot of the issues that we have, like, you know, hunger and disease and everything like that. Like, I know it's because we live in a capitalistic society that puts the value of money sort of above all else. Like, I get that, and I'm not trying to get too political or anything, but I do think that if we just worked together as a collective and actually just cared more about each other and took care of each other more, then that would be better. So I guess, like, as a whole, to bring it back to For All Mankind, I sort of agree with Dev's mom. Like, he said, you taught me that, like, people work together as a collective and they care about each other, and that was bullshit. And I think that he's saying because there's always, like, somebody at the top, right? And I think, like, the board choosing Karen over him, and then he feels like Karen betrayed him, and then I feel like that's sort of what's playing into him disagreeing with that sort of ideology. Dev and his mom seem to have an interesting sort of relationship, and I don't know that I necessarily blame Dev for it, because it seems like the way that he sees it is that his mom abandoned him. And it seems like she says that she asked him to come with her, but he chose his dad, right? I'm wondering, like, what sort of relationship they had after that happened, because, like, one, you shouldn't make a kid choose. Like, I know, like, sure, as a primary house, they can choose who they're going to live with, but you shouldn't make them choose who they're going to have a relationship with, right? They should still be able to cultivate a relationship with both of their parents equally, even if they primarily have to live with one of them, right? Like, one during the school year and the other, like, maybe weekends in the summer, right? Like, I get that it's complicated when you separate and you have a small child, but I just don't think that you should ever make that the child's problem, right? Like, you should always work as hard as you possibly can to make sure that your child knows that you did not abandon them, and that they know that they can and should be able to have a relationship with both of their parents. Like, they shouldn't have to choose, obviously, unless there's, like, abuse or something horrible happening, but it doesn't seem like it in this case. It's weird that his mom framed it as, like, your father's disease of ambition had already infected you, because I don't think, one, ambition is a disease, and two, like, I don't think it's wrong to want more, and I don't think it's wrong to be interested in space. Like, clearly his parents had very different ideals and philosophies and ways that they wanted to live their life, and I don't think it makes his dad right and his mom wrong, or vice versa. But I think that the mom should just accept that it's different perspectives on how to live your life, and respect that your son has the same perspective as your husband, but that doesn't mean that he can't still be your son, and that you can't still have a really good and healthy relationship with him. I think it was interesting to see that conversation, and then to see Dev listened to Kelly fight so hard to have that relationship with her son, to fight so hard to keep her son close to her, because I think that Dev feels that his mom didn't fight for him in the same way, and I think that that hurts him a lot, but I think that it makes him kind of realize, like, if they wanted to, they would, sort of situation. And yeah, I don't know. It definitely makes me more sympathetic to his character, to sort of uncover the layers and see what he went through, at least my interpretation of what he went through. Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, in which case I guess either the show will tell me or you guys will. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. I have to talk about Ed, and it's frustrating because the Ed stuff and the Danielle stuff is all wrapped up in the Danny stuff and in the trauma and the loss that they've both endured in the years since we last saw them, right? I think what happened to Danny really pushed them apart, and it seems like Ed decided to place the blame on Danielle, which maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but I feel like they together made the joint decision that that was what was best, that he be isolated. So I don't really think it's fair that Ed is placing the blame solely on her. I also think that I also don't understand why it was necessary after a certain point for him to continue to be isolated. I think you strip away his duties, his titles, his authority, and then you can, like, let him stay there after a certain point, right? Because, like, you should know that being by yourself in a small place is probably not going to be good for a person after a certain length of time, right? Again, I don't think that it's their fault what happened to Danny, what Danny chose to do, because I don't think that you can place the fault on other people when someone chooses to do that. I think that if he was in the headspace where that was even a possibility to him, then he probably would have still been in that headspace had he been around everybody else, because he still would have been isolated from them because they're still upset at him. So it's not like he would have been communicating with them. So I don't know. I don't think that either of them should blame themselves. I think they should say it was a shitty situation, and unfortunately that was the culmination of it. But I don't think that they should place that blame on themselves. And I don't think that it's right for Ed to place the blame on Danielle. Now, the thing about Ed is that, and I was just talking about this last episode, I do like his character because I feel like he's a very realistic portrayal of a person and how growth works and how changing your mind works and everything. Now, I think that Ed is also a very frustrating person to watch on this show because he has a hard time with self-reflection, and he has a very easy time projecting and blaming other people for his faults. And I think that it goes back to the time in which he was raised and the sort of toxic traits instilled in him by society and probably his parents about being a man and manhood at that time and blah, 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 right? But it still is frustrating to watch him be the way that he is sometimes, because especially when it's like to Danielle, like when he's being just a total dick, and it's like you could have taken this with grace. You could have submitted to the doctor. Danielle wouldn't have had to ground you, take away all your shit. Like, she might have ended up doing that because of the doctor, but you didn't let that option happen. so you kind of made it worse for yourself, right? So I don't know. Ed is just a frustrating character, and it's hard to be a fan of him because I do like him. He's been a constant since season 1, but I also find him incredibly frustrating. So there is that. I do really love Danielle. I like that when push comes to shove, she is willing to make the hard but correct choice. And I really respect her for that, because I don't think that I could do what she does, like being in charge of so many people and being in charge of their lives and having to control their destiny in a way. Like, somebody came to her and told her that Ed was hiding this, and even though he's her friend, she has to act, right? Because she has the responsibility of taking care of everyone else in Happy Valley. So, yeah. I don't know. I just really like Danielle, and I hate that she always has to be put in this position, right? It's interesting to see Miles and Sam's interactions and to see, like, him be jealous of her and that one guy, but also him watching the videos from his wife, because I don't think, like, he never signed the divorce papers, and then they got back together before he came. So, and then, like, obviously they weren't in a great place in their relationship, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't approve of him and Sam, and I kind of like I said before, I'm just not super invested in it, so I don't know. I do think it's interesting that Ilya now knows about his side hustle of the rocks, and he didn't say anything this time, so I'm curious as to what he's waiting for, like what moment he's waiting for to mention it, because I would have just been like, what the fuck is this? You know, this being the newspaper. I am a bit nervous about Aleda going to Russia because I'm worried that she's going to see Margot. And I don't know why that's my fear, but because surely Margot would know to hide if, like, people that she knows are coming. But it just makes me very nervous that Aleda is going to see Margot, which honestly might be good for Aleda. But I think she would probably be kind of mad at Margot for faking her death and giving her that PTSD, you know? I don't know. Like, Aleda does seem to be in a good place right now. So, I'm not sure what seeing Margot and realizing that she's alive and she's been in Russia this whole time might do to her. And I don't know that if she would feel like her faith in Margot was misplaced, even though it wasn't. But I feel like she might feel that way if she sees her working at Roscosmos now, you know. I liked seeing Karen. I don't remember us ever seeing that video before. I don't think we have seen it, so it's a new scene for this season. So it's nice to get just a little bit of Karen, because I have missed her, and it's good to see her, even if she is now, very sadly, no longer with us. Okay, I don't think I have anything else to say except for the Stardew Valley player in me. Whenever I see Iridium, it's just like, ooh, Iridium. But that's really completely beside the point. So I think I'm just going to leave it there. I really liked this episode. I cannot wait to see the next one. If you can also not wait to see the next one, you can right now over on Patreon. If you're watching it on YouTube, you can watch episode 6 right now. Early access and full length, that is available over on Patreon as well, which is linked in the description down below. And while you're over there, if you want, you can watch all of my full length videos, watch along style, so you do have to have the footage of For All Mankind yourself, and yeah, then you can watch all the episodes with me, at least all the ones up to where we are right now. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, bye guys!